Attitude check.
Bronco Pipe!
Welcome to the FSU Broncos Pigskin Press Talk with Richard Hayes. I'm your host, Adrian Ferguson. Now, Coach, it's been a minute and a day, but we are finally here. It is finally week one of the regular season football. Now, we're preparing for the 24th annual Down East Viking Football Classic, which is this Saturday in Rocky Mount, North Carolina, with a 4 p.m. kickoff. So, talk to me about closing down the year for the pandemic and building your way up to this week one.
Well, we'll start with 2019 coming off the championship game appearance. You know, we had some coaching staff changes during that period. Coach Bowser went on to become the head coach at St. Aug, and Coach Flowers and Coach Tripp and those guys went on to Fort Valley. So during that pandemic period, when it first hit, we were trying to find a coaching staff, and we were able to bring in two outstanding young men in Coach Means, Natron Means, and Milton Patterson. And lo and behold, before we were able to get started for the spring, they found new jobs. So it was a testing time for us and myself, and trying to keep the team together and try to give some semblance of football around here, lifting weights, trying to build camaraderie, and then trying to go into the spring and make sure we had spring ball while we were still kind of short-staffed on coaching. So it's been a challenge, but hey, we're here today, and we're a few days away from being able to get on that bus and go down to Rocky Mount and play in the Down East Classic, and we're super excited.
Okay, so you mentioned having some new people on your staff. Let's talk about them.
Okay, we'll start on the defensive side of the ball. Coach Dominic Anderson, he's going to be our defensive coordinator coming from University of Pikeville in Kentucky. Calvin Randall's going to be our offensive coordinator. He's been with me for the last 4 seasons, so he's very familiar with the Fayetteville State way. And then Jada Brown is going to coach our defensive line, and Coach James Lott is a longtime friend of mine. He's going to come and coach our secondary this year. So we're really confident in our new guys, new coaching staff, and they understand the Fayetteville State way, and we're going to try to continue this thing.
Okay, so as we start this year off anew, it's not like the old, because the pandemic just changed everything up. So as we start this year off anew, the Broncos have something new in their facility, which is that actual turf.
Yes. Very, very beautiful surface out there. The guys love it. It's a little bit faster for us. It's a little bit softer for us, and it gives us more want to defend our home field. So we can't let people come in here and just try to show out us on that right there. We're going to make it a point to defend home field.
All right. So we finally made it through preseason camp. You know, today was your first day, not your first day preparing for Elizabeth City, but the first day of week one, since you normally have Mondays off.
Right.
So Elizabeth City, our overall record versus the Vikings is 35-23-5, 5 ties. Now in the Down East Viking Football Classic, we got a 6-2 record against them with that 55-12 win in 2019. How do you prepare your guys for an opponent like Elizabeth City having the success that we've had through the years?
Well, it's simple. I told the guys this morning, we are not the same Fayetteville State team that was the team in 2019, and Elizabeth City is not the same Elizabeth City from 2019. They have new coaches. They have a plethora of new players. We have new coaches. We have new players. So to think that we're just going to go in there and put 55 up on those guys again and them not fight back or try to defend their classic, we're fooling ourselves. So I'm making sure that the guys remain humble, stay level-headed, and respect our opponent each and every week.
Okay. Now, the mantra is defense wins championships, and your defense is the most experienced of all your programs through the years. So who stands out most on your defensive side of the ball?
Man, we have 9 returning starters on defense. The ones that come to mind are Keyshawn James and Karan Blunt up front on the defensive line. Gerald Simpson, Nigel Peel, Krishawn Springs, the linebacker, and our secondary. All of those guys are returning from 3 years of experience. You know, so we feel really confident with our secondary. Our defense as a whole has played together for 3 years. They've made 3 championship game appearances, and I think we're primed and ready to go to try to make it back this year.
Okay. Now, of course, the offense, everything's going to start with the center, which is Greg Brooks. Talk about the offensive side of the ball for the Broncos.
6 or 7 returning starters on offense. We have a few new pieces, but up front we return Greg Brooks, Jalen Galloway, and Dakota McClendon. We're going to go with Kahari Lane as our starting quarterback this week, but Avery McCall is going to get a tremendous amount of reps. Ty Sharp at wideout, and then our running back by committee. Our running backs are the bread and butter of our offense with Darnell Walker, Donshell Jaton, Eli Henry, Shaheem McQueen, those guys, Johnny Glaspie. So we're really, really, really excited about our backfield.
So, of course, this is week 1, so you really haven't had a chance to watch any film on Elizabeth City other than 2019 in the past. But kind of what's your game plan going into this weekend?
Keep our guys in great situations. Don't put them in situations where we can't be successful. We're going into the unknown this week. We haven't exchanged film. All we have to go on is 2019, and that could change. So we focus on ourselves and make sure we're fundamentally sound with what we do on both sides of the ball and in the kicking game. I believe we'll be successful.
Okay. Now, I'm not going to hog up all the time since we're doing something different this year. We are currently live. We do have attending media here on Teams. So I'm going to give the media a chance to ask some questions. So if you can kind of raise your hand and identify yourself once called upon and your affiliation, then we'll open the floor to the media. All right.
Well, I think in 2017, we thought we were going to go down there and we were the better football team. And, we were a team full of freshmen, but we had a lot of confidence. And Elizabeth City knocked us off down there, and it kind of upset us. So I don't have to talk or look very far to try to keep them humble because we got knocked off down there a couple years ago. And so we understand that it can happen. Well, you were at practice this morning and probably heard me say we playing for something this weekend. They give a trophy out at the end of the game. And if we want to declare ourselves as any kind of champion, we have to be champion in week 1. And so the classic games are more like extended versions of homecomings. A lot of family, a lot of friends, a lot of camaraderie. We're going to have a slew of fans down there from Fayetteville that's going to know a slew of fans from Elizabeth City, and they all used to talk junk in the 60s and 70s and 80s or whenever. So that's pretty much what a classic game is about. The city of Rocky Mountain has done an outstanding job over the years. I believe we played in the first one in the first Down East Classic with Fayetteville State, and I believe this is the 24th edition of it, and this will be my 4th time participating in it. So they do an outstanding job. I can attest to it. We ask everybody to come out and support both the city of Rocky Mountain and the Elizabeth City Down East Viking Football Classic. Mm-hmm.
Stephen Gaither.
Hey, bro, long time no see. I definitely have talked to him. The one big difference is he did go 3 times and lose 3 times, but he won in his first 2 years. So he won 2 championships in 77 and 78 before he ever got to the 80s version of it. So he had already got his championships out the way, where I'm still trying to kick that door down and make a name for myself as a championship caliber football coach. as it relates to recruiting, our philosophy has always been to go out and find the high school kids. We hadn't dove too deep in the transfer market until here recently, and that's because we saw a need. We already had a freshman class come in 20 that did not get to participate. Then we bought another freshman class in 21, and we have about 17 guys from our 17 class that are seniors this year or graduate students. So we didn't want to keep piling on young talent with what we already have. We kind of just wanted to bring a little older type of guy in here to kind of even it out a little bit per se. So the transfer portal, we kind of hit it harder in the latter part of the summer to try to fill some needs that we had, but that's not who we are and who we're going to continue to be in the long run. Man, Josh Williams, I'm assuming you're talking about him. Big time corner, man. He's a 6'3", 197-pound kid that can fly. Has all the tools to be a pretty decent corner at the NFL level. We've already had 13 NFL teams come through here, and we haven't even played a game yet. I mean, that's how serious they are taking him. I can't even remember the team that was here this morning, but Scout came this morning. A Scout was here on Sunday. It's ongoing, and it's him and Elvin De La Rosa, Keyshawn James. Those guys, all three of those guys are getting interest from the NFL, and it's my job to just keep those guys level-headed. And you got to play for Fayetteville State right now. That's just a dream, and we have to play this year out to try to make your dream come true. So that's where we are with that.
Is there another question from the media?
Hey, Tyler, how you been, man? Well, I'll just say that's the backyard for me, and I'm the head coach here at Fayetteville State, and I'm always around the backyard looking for talent. I tried to let Coach Randall handle the Winston-Salem area this past recruiting season, but I was heavily involved in it. Of course, we have other coaches that go around the state of North Carolina, but I know good football players when I see them, and we're going to continue to try to use that pipeline as long as it stays open for us. I appreciate you.
Well, that's a wrap for this edition of the Pigskin Press Talk with Richard Hayes. For more information on FSU Broncos, visit our website at fsubroncos.com and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at FSU Broncos, and on Instagram at FSU_Broncos.